has always been the holy grail or the favorite for classical guitars, being that it's in short supply now. There are a lot of other rosewoods that are very, very popular, and I believe that they all are great. I don't really think one is better than another. I think they all possess unique tonal properties, and you could even take two pieces or two sets of Brazilian rosewood that are out of the same tree, build two guitars to as exacting specifications as possible, trying to have one mirror the other. However, when you're finished, the two guitars are really going to sound quite different. And that's just because every piece of wood has its own properties. And it's really come out in a finished guitar. The sound is very, very unique. Madagascar rosewood nowadays is really kind of second favorite to Brazilian rosewood. Honduras rosewood is used quite a bit. A lot of people hear East Indian rosewood. East Indian rosewood is a fantastic rosewood. I also build with Panamanian rosewood, Amazon rosewood. They're all just wonderful woods for classical guitars. I also build flamenco guitars. Flamencos have typically been built from cypress. So a typical flamenco guitar will be a spruce top with a cypress sides and back. I have a beautiful supply of redwood, which is old growth redwood, that I hand selected out of Northern California years ago. Although most of my guitars are either Western red cedar or spruce. And in spruce I use both Sitka spruce and European spruce, which is also referred to as German spruce. Cedar has a warmer sound. Many classical guitarists actually prefer cedar because of its warmth. And not only for playing in a smaller venue or home, but also they are played in large classical concert halls. So spruce is going to project more. Cedar has a warmth, but they both just produce an absolutely fantastic, beautiful sound. They really do. As you know, in the classical guitar, the sides actually glue into the neck. Before they do that, they have to be bent on the side bender. This is the heat control. This will heat up to over 300 degrees before I start to bend the side. And the way this is done is one of the sides is actually put between these two metal slats, and then on top of the metal slats is a heating blanket. All this is put into the bender, is heated, and as it heats, I have these what are called bending cauls. They attach to the springs, and I'll slowly pull the caul down over the heating blanket, and it will bend either the top or the bottom.
Now, if it wasn't heated, the wood would just snap?
It would snap,
right.
Exactly. It has to be heated. What it does is it heats the lignin that is in the wood, and once the lignin is heated, the wood becomes pliable and can be bent. So I'll pull either the upper bout or the lower bout down, and then do the other. And then after I've done that, I'll actually pull the waist down with this center waist caul. This is about a 10-minute process.
Oh, okay. 10 minutes.
It's done pretty quickly. Once it is heated for that 10-minute period, I will disconnect the bender, and then I will allow the piece to sit in here overnight and let it cool, let it keep that shape. I'll pull it out the next morning, and I'll do the other side the next day. So it may sound like a slow process, but it's actually pretty quick. I don't really spend much time playing with a bender. I'll put it into a form after I pull it out of the bender, which will just hold it.
Holds the shape, yeah.
Close to the position that it's in, but bear in mind again that by the time this piece is bent, it's down just under 2 millimeters. So it's very thin, and it's still very easy to bend. So putting it into the mold to hold it temporarily just helps it kind of retain that shape, and then it's still quite workable once I attach the sides to the top and neck. This is one of the necks that I will be using, and I'd like to explain some of the differences between this and some of the other necks that are being built today. This is Honduras mahogany, and I use quarter sawn Honduras mahogany. My guitars typically a Spanish classical, or what I would refer to as a Spanish classical. The greatest influences in my guitars are from Pepe Romero Jr. and from Miguel Rodriguez Jr. I've drawn most of my inspiration and technique from them. However, I have made some differences and some changes. One of the changes is the heel block. In the classical guitar, the sides actually glue into the neck. So, in this fashion. So as you can see, this portion of the neck, which is actually the heel or heel block, sits inside the body of the guitar. The traditional Spanish heel block is smaller than this. Mine is actually longer, and as you can see, I have made in this curved shape. The reason behind that is so that, first of all, the portion of the heel block that comes up to the sound hole reinforces the fretboard before it hits the sound hole. There will be no deflection in the sound hole at all, or the guitar top at all, because of this design. I also use a carbon fiber bar in the neck underneath the fretboard, which helps A, strengthen the neck of the guitar so that it will never pull over in time from string tension, and B, actually helps transmit sound. So that's a very, very valuable part of the neck.
It's almost like a truss rod, but not, you know?
Correct.
Like most classicals don't have the truss rod. You don't have as much tension on the nylon strings like a steel string would have the truss rod, but that adds a lot of strength, that carbon. Is that just one piece of carbon that runs down through there?
It is. It is one piece.
And that keeps that neck from bowing under the string
Keeps it
tension.
from pulling on it, yes.
Yeah.
Correct. The diamond ebony inlay in the back is actually an old family trademark for my family that dates back into the 1890s. And this is something that I have taken and used in my guitars. I want all my guitars to be easily identified from either the back or from the top. So obviously this signifies that this is one of my guitars. My true love really is the classical guitars. I really love building them.